have been going through the life of Christ and doing a harmony, and we are in the section on a leper that the Lord heals and the popular excitement that follows. This is found in Mark 1:40 to 45, Matthew 8, 2 to 4, and Luke 5:12 to 16. I'm going to be reading the Greek of Mark and doing comments from that. So beginning at verse 40, it reads, Kaer katai pras autan lepras, parakalon autan kai ganu peton, kai legon autu hatia anteles, dunasai me katharisai. That is, a leper is coming to him, exhorting him, and kneeling down, bowing down, saying to him that if you will, you are able to heal me. Notice here the grammar, parakalon is a present active participle nominative masculine singular from parakaleo. So he is coming, a leper is coming to him, and he is bowing down, ganu peton, from ganu peteo. Here again, we have another participle, a masculine, excuse me, nominative participle present from ganu peteo, masculine singular, and saying, same thing, participle with saying, alto hatia an theles, if you desire. This is from thelo, it's the aorist, basically, excuse me, it's the it's the aorist subjunctive second person singular from thelo. If you desire, you are able, katharisai, to heal me, from katharizo, the aorist infinitive from katharizo, infinitive active. It parallels like lusai. Here we have the sai if we were using luo. And then as we look at the Latin, et venit ad eum leprosus de precans eum et genu flectens et dicens ei si vis potus me mundare. And there was coming to him a leper, bowing down, exhorting him, and genuflection, genuflecting, bowing down on the knees and saying to him, here we have a participle in Latin, if you desire, you are able, and then the infinitive mundare, you are able to cleanse me. And it is interesting that the leper knew that Jesus would be able to cleanse him. And that is the source of our cleansing too. We could say from spiritual leprosy, that is bowing down to Jesus Christ. But first of all, we have to have a need. We have to realize that we are spiritually leprous, so to speak. And we need to bow down before him and let him touch our lives. And the Hebrew reads, Ba elav ish metzora v'hit chanein lefanav, and the leper came exhorting him and bowing down. Hu kara al birkav, that is, he bowed down on his knees, v'amar and said to him, Im tirtzeh tuchal letaher oti. If you are desirous, you are able to cleanse me, or to tahar, meaning the same as the Greek. You are able to make me pure, to purify what I have. And that's true with us today. The Lord is able to do that as we come to him with our asking for forgiveness because of our sins. then he moves on in verse 41. And verse 41 reads, Kai splang mis theis hektenas ten kerautu hepsata kalege auto thelo katharisteti. That is, and being compassionate. Here we have the aorist passive participle nominative singular, masculine singular. Being compassionate. When he stretched forth, another participle, his hand, he touched him from hapto, aorist indicative middle, third person singular. He touched him and says to him, I will be cleansed. Katharisteti, be cleansed. May you be cleansed. And then we read the Latin, and it reads in the Latin, verse 41, et misertus extendens manum suam tediget eum et ait illi. That is, and being compassionate, extending his hand, he touched him and said to him, Wolo, I am willing. I am willing. And then, finding my text here, mundare, that is, be cleansed. And now we're going to see the Lord immediately healing the man with leprosy. And then, as we're looking at verse the Hebrew, Berov Rachamav Hoshit Yeshua et Yado. That is, and with much mercy, Yeshua is going to pity him and reach out to him and bring healing to him. And so he's actually extending his hand. And it says then, as we read on, that he extended his hand. Nagabo touched him, Amar Elav, and said to him, Rotse ani hittaer, I am willing, be healed. Here we have a hifil, a nifal, imperative, masculine, singular, from tahar. Notice the hey with the I, a vowel pattern, and the dogish in the tet. So be healed. And then as we move on to the next verse, that is verse 42, notice what happens then in the great healing that occurs. Notice it says in verse 42, Kaiuthus apelten ap autu he lepra kai ekathariste. Immediately the leprosy left him. Now here we have the aorist indicative active third person singular from aperkamai. Left him, and he was healed. Ekathariste from katharizo, aorist indicative passive third person singular from katharizo. So instantly he was healed. And looking at the Latin then, it reads, et in flimuat et eum statim qua ya eket ilum, that is, and immediately the leprosy departed from him, and he was healed. And then Jesus will speak to him at this point in verse 40, I read verse 43. Verse 42, et statim discessit ab eo lepra, and the leprosy left him, et mundatis est, and he was cleansed. Here we have the perfect passive participle with the verb est. So he was cleansed. And then we move on to verse uh, where the Lord is going to now um, command him. Notice verse 40, 43. And it reads, Imbri me samenos autoiothus exebelan auton. That is, and he strictly charged him. We could translate it. He strictly charged him, and right away and immediately he sent him out. So the Lord immediately charges him. Here we have the aorist middle participle, nominative masculine singular. So he immediately charged him. And ekbalo, aorist indicative active, third person singular, he sent him out. Sent him out. And notice what he says to him. Kailege alto, ara maideni maiden apes. He says to him, see to no one that you say anything. Alahu pageb se altan dexon to hare, kai plasene ke peritu katharismu su ha plasetaxen mauses, es marturion altois. That is verse 44. And he sent him out and says unto him, that is, to no one, see to no one that you say anything, but depart and show yourself to the priest. That's the first thing that he is to do, to verify the cleansing, and offer up concerning your purification a type of offering which Moses commanded for a witness to them. And so he is to go out and show to the priest. This is in fulfillment, by the way, of Leviticus 13:49 and 14:2-32. They have to verify that there has been a healing from leprosy. So go show yourself to the priest and offer a sacrifice. And as we read this in verse 43, et in frimuet et eum statim qua iacit elum, that is, he sent him away, et dicit vide, and he said to him, see, nemini quid quam, to no one, dexeris, you should say, sed vade, but go, extende te sacerdote et offer pro emundatione tua, qua precipit Moses in testimonium illis. That is, again, go and offer a sacrifice or an offering to the priest, that as Moses commanded. Again, going back to Leviticus. And here we have the perfect in precipit, as Moses commanded for a witness to them. So go and show yourself to the priest and offer concerning your purification. And the Hebrew of verse 44, let me just read it here. Amare lav, re'e el tagi davar le'ish, beram lake, hera et ha-kohen v'hagrev leta horatecha et asher tziva Moshe le'edut lahim. So go and declare a word concerning, don't declare anything to anyone, but go and show yourself unto the priest, and offer then, or cause to offer. Here we have a hifil imperative from Karav, offer your cleansing offering, which Moses commanded, Siva, PL perfect, third masculine singular from Sava, which Moses commanded, le'edut lahim, for a testimony or for a witness to them. So let the priest affirm what has happened. And so then we go on with that exhortation. By the way, I'm sure the priests haven't had any kind of person coming to them with healing like that. I remember in seminary, the professor saying, they probably had to get out all of their old seminary books and find out how to respond to someone. They probably hadn't seen anyone cleansed with leprosy for a long time. But at any rate, going on to verse 45. Hade exelthon erxate kerusein palan kai diaf midzain tan lagan. Hosta meketi altan dunastai faneros es palen eselthain. Al exo ep eremois tapois ein kai ergata gras altan pantathen. That is, and he going out, speaking of the leper here, when he went out, notice he began to preach. He began to publicize much of what the Lord had done, and to make, to spread abroad the word. And that's what we're to do. When we experience a cleansing from the Lord, we're to spread it abroad wherever we can. But we go on, and because of that, then it goes on to say, so that no longer Jesus was able openly to enter again into the city. In other words, he did not just go to the priest, he went to everybody telling what had happened. And I imagine he was so thrilled with what had occurred. And that again should be our response to our cleansing. But then he concludes, al exo ep eremois tapois. That is, but he was outside in desert places. In other words, he had to go out of the city and go to desert places. And we're told they were coming to him. Erkanta prasaltan pantathen. They were coming to him from everywhere. That is coming to Jesus. Erkata is from erkamai, imperfect indicative, third person plural, a middle from erkamai, deponent verb. So they were coming to him from all over. And the Latin then reads, again, very close to the Greek, et ille aggressus coepit predicare. He began to preach multum, much, et diffamare sermonem, that he began to spread the word. Ite et eum non possit manifesto in civitatem introire, that is, so that he was no longer, Jesus, able openly to enter into the city, sid fortis, but outside in desertus locis, in desert places, erat, he was. Again, the imperfect, he was there then. At convenebant, and they were coming out. Here we have the imperfect indicative active third person plural in the Latin. They were coming out to him from all over. And the Hebrew then in verse 45 reads, Ahu yatsa v'hirba lehakriz ulehafez fates berabim et hadavar. Again, very close to a good translation of the Hebrew text here, but he went out and began to publicize and to spread among many the word. עד אשר ישוע לא היה יכול עוד לבוא אל עיר בלגוי. That is, inasmuch that Yeshua, Jesus, was not able again to enter into the city openly in a public way. אלא ישב מחוץ לעיר במקומות שוממים. But he went, he dwelt, Yasha, perfect indicative active, or Cal, excuse me, Cal perfect, third masculine singular from Yasha. He dwelt on the outside of the city and in desert places, Mekomot Shomemim, in places of desert. And they came to him, Umikol Makom Ba'u Elav. They came to him from every place. And they came unto him from really every place, Kol Makom. So what a beautiful ministry that the Lord had here. And when he was working in Galilee, and the healing of the leper, showing his authority over leprosy. And often leprosy can become a type of sin, and we know today that the Lord has that same authority over sin in our lives when we come to Christ. And the goal then is to make it known what Jesus has done. And that's what has happened here. And I think Mark is driving that home. Matthew repeats the same. And just tells him to go to the priest and offer a testimony. And Matthew doesn't talk about how he publicly kept declaring what the Lord had done. So that's not in Matthew. In Luke, it came to pass that he went, that is Jesus, when he went into the city, there was a man with the leprosy, and you can make me clean. And he charged him to tell no one, but again, go according to what Moses commanded. We talked about that from Leviticus 13 and 14. But so much the more he went and began to spread abroad what he had heard. And so Jesus had to withdraw himself to desert places and pray. That is something that Luke adds, that Jesus was in desert places and was praying. One of the things that we can do in following Jesus is that when we find ourselves in desert places to pray, we should be praying all the time, but I think really prayer was an essential part of everything that Jesus did. So thank you. I hope this is helpful to somebody. I'm enjoying working in these languages, trying to improve in my Latin a bit, and in my continuing in my Hebrew. I've never done the Hebrew New Testament. I've worked a lot in the Hebrew Bible and, of course, the Greek. So thank you for listening.